What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. I hope you're all having a fantastic week. Today's video is a really cool story and I'm super excited and just honored to have the opportunity to share this story on this platform today. Thank you guys so much for checking out the video. The story is about a Medal of Honor recipient, and honestly, I just believe that this story is really impactful and a really important story, and I'd love it if as many people as possible got the chance to hear this incredible story. So if you guys could do me a favor and hit that like button and share this video with a few of your friends, that would mean the world to me. The guys in this specific operation deserve every ounce of honor and recognition we could give them, so help me out, help me share this story with as many people as I possibly can. I will also be posting this video along with several others over on the Spotify page, so if you guys could go to the link down in the description and follow me on Spotify, that helped me out a lot. I'm trying not to be so reliant on YouTube because they freaking hate us. I'm pretty sure I had to upload the last video like 3 different times because it kept getting striked and just all sorts of issues. So if you guys could help me out and go check out the Spotify as well as the Patreon account link down in the description below, just to help me not be so reliant on the freaking YouTube tyrants. With all that out of the way, guys, let's go ahead and jump into today's video. Salvatore Giunta was born January 21st, 1985, and grew up in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. He was the oldest of 3 children in an Italian-American family. In 2003, Giunta saw a recruitment commercial while working at a sandwich shop, and he decided to enlist in the Army. He went to basic training and was assigned to the 503rd Infantry Regiment, 173rd Airborne Brigade Combat Team. During his first year-long combat deployment to Afghanistan in March 2005, Giunta was shot in the leg and saw 4 fellow soldiers pass away after a roadside bomb went off. A little more than a year after returning from that deployment, Giunta's unit was sent back to Afghanistan. Months into his second deployment, the 22-year-old was acting as B Company 1st Platoon's rifle team leader during a multi-day combat mission called Operation Rock Avalanche. On October 25th, 2007, Giunta's platoon, 1st Platoon, was on a night patrol in the Korengal Valley, but they weren't alone. They were accompanied by 2nd and 3rd Platoon. Korengal Valley is the most dangerous valley in northeastern Afghanistan, and these soldiers knew they had a very high chance of getting in a gunfight during this patrol. But the terrain they were patrolling in was such terrible terrain. I mean, it was rocks and down trees and cliff sides and heavy brush. It was rough, to the point that they spent a lot of their time on their hands and knees, like climbing, basically crawling their way up steep cliff sides, and it was just brutal terrain. So it was so bad that they actually had to patrol in a single file line, just one soldier after the other. That way they could just all take the same path and not get tripped up on all kinds of random crap. But as the soldiers were making their way down a steep, rocky crest, they were ambushed by Taliban fighters. And this was like the worst position for them to get ambushed in because they were going in single file. 1st Platoon was on its way down the rocky crest, but the other 2 platoons were still making their way up the crest. So as soon as the ambush kicked off, 1st Platoon was completely alone and separated from the other 2 platoons. To make matters worse, this wasn't just a normal ambush that the Taliban had set up. These Taliban fighters had set up an L-shaped ambush where the bottom half of the L was at the bottom of the crest, facing up, shooting at the soldiers. The rest of the L was going alongside the soldiers up the crest, and the Taliban fighters waited until the soldiers were deep into the L-shaped ambush and were very close to the Taliban fighters. So as soon as they opened up, basically everyone in that 1st Platoon got hit. Everyone got hit, but honestly the majority of the dudes in the 1st Platoon got hit more than once, 3, 4 times. It was a terrible situation for everyone in that first platoon. Now, in the single file line, Junta was more towards the back. He was still in the first platoon, so he was on his way down the crest and very much so in the gunfight, but he was more towards the back, so he was in a relatively safe spot considering how dangerous the position for the guys at the front that just instantly got shot was. So once the fighting kicked off, Junta very quickly ran for cover and started firing back at the enemy. But then he saw his squad leader get hit in the helmet and go down. Now naturally his squad leader was all the way down the crest towards the very front of the platoon. But seeing that his squad leader had been hit, Junta immediately started running and basically jumping his way down the crest to get to his teammate. And he eventually did reach his squad leader, but in the process he was hit twice. One bullet hit his body armor and the other actually hit a gun he had strapped onto his back, and the gun definitely saved his life. Thankfully, his squad leader was okay. He had been hit in the head, but his helmet saved his life and the bullet just barely grazed his skin. So Junta immediately started firing back at the enemy and started throwing grenades to try to give an opening for him and his other soldiers to move towards their other wounded comrades. But while Junta and his soldiers were applying medical aid to their wounded, Junta realized the point man of the platoon, his best friend Sergeant Josh Brennan, was missing, which again makes a lot of sense because as the point man, Brennan was at the very front of the platoon and took the worst of the ambush. So Junta, once again, with complete disregard for his own safety, made his way all the way down to the very bottom of the crest, as close as he could get to the Taliban fighters. Once he got down there, he saw two Taliban insurgents attempting to carry a severely wounded Sergeant Brennan away. So without any hesitation, Junta went after them, immediately eliminating one of the insurgents and severely wounding the other, who then ran away. Junta then dragged Brennan back to cover with the rest of the squad and started giving him medical aid. Junta was able to keep Brennan alive until he was evacuated off the ridge about a half an hour later. They had air support on station, which was able to quickly eliminate the remaining insurgents. Junta's platoon then continued on its patrol despite losing several men to injuries. But unfortunately, when Junta and his platoon finished their patrol and got back to base, they found out that Sergeant Josh Brennan and Specialist Hugo Mendoza had both passed away from their injuries, which was a huge shock to the whole platoon, but especially Junta, because the last time that they saw Brennan, he was alive and getting on a helicopter about to get the medical aid he needed. So the whole rest of their patrol, they were expecting to get back to base and be able to finally see their friend. But thanks to Junta's incredible bravery and selfless actions, Sergeant Brennan was able to pass away in peace, surrounded by his brothers. If Junta hadn't made his way down the crest to check on his friend, Brennan would have been taken alive by the enemy. On November 16th, 2010, 25-year-old Junta received the nation's highest honor at a White House ceremony attended by many of the men with whom he had served, becoming the first living Medal of Honor recipient to receive the honor since the Vietnam War. Salvatore Junta risked his life for his fellow soldiers because they would risk their lives for him, President Barack Obama said during the ceremony. That's what fueled his bravery, not just the urgent impulse to have their backs, but the absolute confidence that they had his. Junta insisted he just did what any good soldier would do. In July 2017, he gave his medal to the 173rd Airborne Brigade Combat Team during a ceremony, saying he wanted it to remain with them. During the ceremony, Junta said, "I'm not here because I'm a great soldier. I'm here because I served with great soldiers." Junta left the Army in 2011 and published an autobiography called Living with Honor in 2012.
I hope with all these years I can make that apparent to the world, that these people go out there and do this every single day, year after year, deployment after deployment, and it's taxing, but there's that great of people in our country willing to do this. And I hope that if I got the spotlights on me, that I can show the world that there's amazing people out there.
Salvatore Giunta, and all the men in that first platoon. Thank you so much for your service and your sacrifice. You guys are absolute heroes, and it has been a genuine honor sharing your story here today in this video. And again, thank you guys so much for checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to hit that like button and share the video with some friends to help me get the word out about this incredible story. But anyway, guys, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next video.